and Kathy is going to talk about the online auction.
Hey, Chris, I think you need to stop sharing your screener.
I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want you to put that, what I sent you last night up on the board.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that up right now.
Okay.
That's why
Perfect.
I'm sharing my screen.
So, although we haven't sent out a real formal announcement about the auction with the timeline and everything, early next week, probably Monday, I'll be sending out a request with a small spreadsheet. And the value of this spreadsheet in its entirety is that not only do we see what we have and what we're going to be put in the auction, but we'll be able to hopefully upload it very easily rather than having to do it item by item. And of course, we will have pictures. Thank you to Vivian and Bill and anybody else who's taken pictures. Already got some from Gary Smith. So he's got 3 of his shoji lamps, and I know Rebecca was really wanting those. So they're coming up, and you can get all of them, Rebecca, if you want.
They are gorgeous.
Yes.
Just try to outbid me, people.
Woo, the game is on. And Jim Jones is putting up a week worth about $3,500 of World Mark date and location to be chosen by the winner. So that's really exciting. So those are 2 of the items. Norm's got a couple of his items. Remember those pies? And a fishing trip. And Wanda Fuca is putting up a basket of swag, and then we'll have the usual wine basket, etc. So how can you be part of this? Okay, so you can see here what ultimately it's going to look like. What we do really need is we will need a title of the item. So what everybody will get is the small sniglet that was posted first. You'll go up to the top of it and hit the enable, fill in what you want, and then send it back to me. And then John Teichert and Scott and Norm, no, not John Teichert and Scott and Jim Jones, and I will be putting this together. It takes a team. We talked with Bainbridge Island and their auction. They actually have department heads for their auction. So we're kind of just, we're winging it, and we're going to have a wonderful auction. So what do you need to do? You need to put in the title of the item. And I'm going to send the example with it. A description of it, and please embellish a little bit, make it sound really inviting that you too need half a hog. I'm making the catalog number be the initials of the person who donated with a 1, 2, or 3. Bid start, think about the value, see 2 columns over, value of the item. And then we'll look at an appropriate percentage for a bid start. How many of them you have. Bid increments will be a percentage. If it's say $100 item, we'll start at 10 and go by tens. If it's a higher dollar item, like the vacation week, we will start at 25 or even 50. Because we really want to pull it up there. And then, so then we'll get the donor names, email, and then phone number. Call them in. Okay, so any questions on that?
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, so just remember to hit the enable up at the top and turn it around and send it back to me, and eventually I'll post it just to make sure we got everybody's response back, we don't miss anybody. So looking forward to it. Norm, can you give the date again of the auction? I believe it's October, the weekend of October
23rd and 24th.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Okay.
Thanks, Kathy.
We'll go ahead and Next up, Mr. John Brewer, are you available to discuss what's going on with the murals?
Sure, yeah, sure, you bet. In fact, there's a picture in the newspaper this morning. Jackson Smart, the painter, has been at the Olympic Visions mural behind the fountain in the downtown area since Wednesday. He's repainting the two presidents, Teddy Roosevelt and FDR, who are up in the clouds at the top of the mural. They're looking down on Olympic National Park, and the two Roosevelts, of course, were instrumental in the creation of ONP. Smart is also repainting portions of the mural damaged by weather and some invasive ivy that we removed last year. This is work that was originally scheduled for the end of 2019. We ran out of good weather, and then earlier this year, a new protective coat of sealant was applied to the mural during the summer. And Smart will probably be done probably on Sunday, and that will complete our rehab work on Norwest Rotary's 4 downtown murals. Olympic Visions, if you recall, was originally painted in 1999 by Tim Quinn. It was repainted completely in 2010 after the paint peeled away over the years because the sealant hadn't been applied correctly. This is also Smart's second time at the mural. Quinn died midway through the 2010 repainting, and the work was then completed by Smart. Jackson Smart again will be down at the mural this weekend. Please stop by and introduce yourself and wish him the best.
Hey, John, one question. How did all the fixing of the dog, how did that go? Did they finally get down below that one layer?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we got it. Just took another dose of mineral spirits, and it came off. So no harm at all. It's good shape. I'm going to stick some signs. I just got them in the mail from Amazon that says that this is under cameras and such. See, that keeps people away. No repeat. No permanent damage whatsoever. So.
Did we have to put another coat of sealant over that?
Yes, it has 2 coats of sealant over it now. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Looks like they love dogs, you know. What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know what the heck that was about. So, anyway, it's gone now, completely gone.
Thanks, John. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
help on this.
Okay, Chris, thank you.
So at that point, we talked about the online auction and everything. I would like to remind everybody, this is a club effort. We need donations from every single member from the club, and anything you can get to donate would be really, well taken. So please get in your donations. Think outside the box. Combine things with the other members if you need to. Gift baskets that you can go to different stores and kind of fill up or whatever. These things, we're going to need to make a little bit of money on this. So, and basically this is going to tell whether or not we'll be able to do another one in the spring. Hopefully the spring we can have our auction dinner back. That would be nice, but at this point, I'm kind of leaning towards, probably just another auction or maybe a burger feed or something like that, to where we can go out and, cook our burgers and our hot dogs that we would normally do at Jammin' in the Park, and, try and do a drive-through kind of thing. So again, Lions is doing that this Saturday at Edna's Place again. They have done very well doing that. So like I said, it's something to think about, and I'd like our club to think about it, and hopefully maybe come up with a good idea to do that at some point. So at this point, Kathy, would you like to introduce our speaker?
Our speakers this morning are Brooke Taylor And I know he's been with us before, but we always get a great update, and we enjoy having you. And also your wingman, Chris Fiddler. To quote Brooke, "To me, Field Hall means the opportunity of a lifetime for the community I love." And he is a native of Clallam County and a graduate of Port Angeles High School. He earned a Bachelor of Arts from Stanford University and Juris Doctor degree from the University of Virginia School of Law. Mr. Taylor practiced law for 38 years in Clallam County, including one term as prosecuting attorney, and he finished his career in law as a Superior Court judge, a position he was elected to three times. He was also elected to serve as president of the 30,000-member Washington State Bar Association, 2005 to 2006. But most importantly, and most recently, he has served as chairman president of the Port Angeles Waterfront Center, a nonprofit since January of 2016, when it was founded pursuant to the will of Donna M. Morris. He has been the only president the organization has ever had. But he is solidly backed by a committee handpicked by the executor of the Morris State, and 6 months later, those community leaders became the board of directors. In 4.5 years of intense work, although they've lost 2 members, they have gained 5 for a current board of 10, plus an executive director and an office manager full-time. So please welcome Brooke and Chris, if he wants to speak up, for their presentation and update on the Field Hall Arts and Events Center.
We need to update that. It's a dramatically different picture if you go down on the site right now. But Chris knows more about this construction project than anyone outside of the actual construction team. So I always like to have him as my wingman when questions come up about the details of this very, very complicated construction. Thanks for having us back. Always enjoy talking to this club. Have done it several times over the last 20 or 30 years. The last time I was talking to you, we were in the cafeteria at the hospital, and we were talking about plans and artist renderings and schematic drawings and dreams, basically. And a lot has happened since that last update. And all you have to do is drive down to Front and Oak to see that. Since that time, we have completed the design of the building with LMN Architects and their design team. We have negotiated a guaranteed maximum price contract with Mortenson Construction, the 14th largest major builder in the United States, also currently doing the remodel of the Key Arena in Seattle to the tune of $930 million. A major player in the construction business and a great partner. When all of the plans were completed, we applied for and received a building permit from the city of Port Angeles. We got the same day that we had our groundbreaking ceremony last October. And then construction actually started in November of last year and has proceeded on schedule and on budget since that time, with one exception, and that was a 6-week hiatus from March 25th to May the 4th, when the governor shut down all non-essential construction. Of course, we thought our construction was totally essential, but the governor disagreed with that. Anyway, Mortenson hardly skipped a beat. They were right back on the job the first day they were allowed to. And we've just gotten to about the halfway point in construction. And on September the 2nd, we had a traditional topping off ceremony. Some of you in our preliminary conversation indicated you either saw that live streamed or you have seen it on the video. For any of you who have not seen it, I would strongly recommend that you go to our website, which is fieldhallevents.org, fieldhallevents.org. Right at the top of the front page, there's a place you can click and see the video of that incredible ceremony. And the reason I encourage you to do that is because two young men from Port Angeles and Sequim who have become internationally renowned musicians in their own field did a duet concert in the half-finished concert hall, which was just extraordinary. We couldn't do a live performance, just like you can't do a live auction. So it was videotaped 2 days earlier at night with artificial lighting and microphones, and it was just incredible. It's worth the trip to the website to see it. So now we're at the point where the structural steel part of the building, it's a steel frame building, has been completed. It was amazing how fast that all went up. And the crew is now installing the first of 79 glulam pillars, as we call them, which are just extraordinary pieces of wood. We told the architects early on that we wanted this building to have a sense of place, and that included some tribute to the forest products industry, which is the history of this community. And we came up with this as one of several additions to the building that would accomplish that. So these are made out of regionally sourced Douglas fir 2x4s, laminated together so that the beam ends up being 14 inches deep, 3.5 inches thick, and they vary from 30 to 36 feet in length. They are custom made and absolutely beautiful additions to the building. They will become the mullions to frame the window installations, and the glazing, I believe, is going to start in the next couple of the weeks. I know the glass has already been made, custom made. Next week, they are going to pour the concrete roof for the building. A couple of weeks ago, they poured the concrete decking for all of the second level part of the building. And let me just remind you what we have when we get done with all of this. Like I said, we're probably 50 to 55% complete at the moment. You will have a two-level building of approximately 40,000 square feet. And it will include and feature as its core a 500-seat state-of-the-art performance theater with everything you need to accomplish that. A lobby outside, elevators, restrooms, back of the house, all of the accoutrements. It will include on the second level, which is 18 feet above street level, a conference and event center, which is built exclusively for that purpose, that will accommodate up to 300 people for a sit-down dinner very comfortably, supported by a full catering kitchen where our local caterers can do their work. It is situated on the northeast corner of the building, so it has spectacular views of the harbor end of the east over the downtown, Mount Baker, Edis Hook, Victoria. Then in the southeast corner of the building on the same level, there's a smaller room called the Founder's Room, which is also framed in those glulam pillars and has unobstructed views of Klahani Ridge and Mount Angeles to the south and to the east. You will also have on the lower level, on the north side of the building, a coffee shop, which will be accessible at times when the building is not open from the exterior. And right across the entry hallway will be a first-class art gallery of about 1,000 square feet. So those are the main features of what we're going to have when we get to the completion date. During the period of time that the construction has been going on, something else really phenomenal has been happening simultaneously, and that is what is being called the Port Angeles Downtown Renaissance. There are now 7 other projects lined up behind the Field Arts and Events Hall. All of them catalyzed by this project, I'm very proud to say, with anticipated construction costs of about $140 million, all private investment. The 2 most conspicuous ones being the Annie and Shores, a 7-story residential and retail development across Front Street, and the Lower Elwha Hotel right across from the Coho Ferry Terminal. And then there are 2 other projects on our site, which will complete the Port Angeles Waterfront Center campus, the new Marine Discovery Center, and also Longhouse by the Lower Elwha Tribe. So that's what has happened since we went public in 2016 with our project. It took that spark to get the downtown moving, and we should all be very, very excited about what that 3 or 4 block area is going to look like 5 years from now when all of these projects are completed. So we've had one huge sea change in the environment since we started construction, and that is a totally unexpected worldwide pandemic. And the question I get asked the most now is, Brooke, how has that affected this project? Well, it's affected it in 2 very dramatic ways. One which will not surprise you, and one which may surprise you. The one which will not surprise you is that since March of this year, the capital fundraising environment nationwide has just been absolutely hammered. It is very, very difficult to raise money for nonprofit capital projects in this environment. When we started construction, we were at about 70% of our capital campaign goal. And as you will all recall, the economy was booming, interest rates were at all-time lows, unemployment all-time lows, stock market all-time highs, everything, the positivity was incredible. The change in that has, of course, been dramatic. So it impacts fundraising, and that's true of every nonprofit in the country that's in the middle of a capital project. Fortunately, most of the nonprofits who are operational, who are not trying to build something, they're just trying to stay afloat, are being supported by their army of supporters and donors through this crisis. But the performing arts venues around the world are all dark and are just hemorrhaging money, laying off staff. Some of them, unfortunately, will not survive. So that's the other impact that the COVID pandemic has had on projects like ours. And that is this: if we stay on our current construction schedule, we will have a completed building that cannot open. That would call for a grand opening sometime around September, at the end of next summer. Chris and I recently sat in on a conference call with executive directors from 15 major performing arts venues in the Northwest. And they, of course, are tapping into the professionals around the country for predictions of where we are going in that industry. And I'll tell you, the forecasts are really startling. What we were told is that none of these venues are going to be able to open in 2021. It is going to be 18 to 24 months before they can reopen their doors. And when they do, they can expect about 50% of their normal audience in the first year, 80% in the second year, and back to normal in their third year after reopening. I hope those gloomy forecasts are not accurate, but they're coming from people in the industry who know from whence they speak. So we have to take that seriously. So what we're now looking at is it possible to time the completion of this project in a way that we'll be able to open and be open for business? So stay tuned. We're taking a look at that. I'll have more information for you before the end of this month. But it's now become really tricky business with this timing feature that nobody could have expected a year ago. So that's where we are right now, and construction continues to roll full bore. They are going to complete putting up the rest of the glulam mullions in the next 2 weeks. The glazing will start, as I told you, the roof will be poured. And right now it's business as usual with our amazing construction team. A couple of things I want to mention, which are a little bit generic, but maybe of interest to you, is we, of course, are dealing with donors and potential donors every day of the week and have been for several years now. And the CARES Act has a little known provision in it, which allows people to deduct the amount of charitable contributions up to the full amount of their adjusted gross income. That's looks like a once in a lifetime provision. It only applies this year unless Congress extends it. So it'll expire 12/31/20, but it allows high capacity donors to make gifts much larger than they ever could in the past and fully deduct them to the extent of their adjusted gross income. So that was designed to encourage support of projects like ours. And we certainly hope that it does. But for those of you, for your favorite charity, regardless of what that may be for anybody, that's something to keep in mind. The other thing that we're seeing a lot of is those of us that are retired and have those required minimum distributions to take every year from our IRAs, you don't have to take it this year. Here again, that's a 1-year hiatus. But what a lot of people are doing, and we've seen this in our own fundraising, is they're simply directing those distributions to the Port Angeles Waterfront Center as a fully deductible charitable donation, and there's no income tax on it. So people are getting really creative. We also have people who have highly appreciated common stock, such as a lady who donated Microsoft stock to our project. And donations of those highly appreciated shares of stock completely wipe out any capital gains tax you would normally have, and they're fully deductible. So just a couple of things I wanted to mention, whether you're charitably inclined towards our project or any other very worthy projects in the community, like the Boys and Girls Club, which was mentioned earlier. I'd urge you to take a look at those opportunities. At this point, I'm going to open it up for questions if we have time for a few. And Chris is still on and can help me answer any of those that have to do with the actual construction project.
Don't forget to, thanks a lot, Brooke. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. If you can, I think, did Brian unmute everybody?
I can't unmute everybody. I can only mute everybody. So they can unmute themselves.
I've got a quick question. Can you explain more about the art gallery?
Oh,
How do you, yeah, and forgive my roofers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. We have in the will of Donna Morris, there were 7 entities that were named that we call our will partners. One of them was the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center, not surprisingly, because Donna M. Morris was into the arts, both performing arts and visual arts. And she mentioned in her will also that in addition to a performing arts venue in Port Angeles, she wanted the building to have a fine arts component of some kind. So we have designed into the building this gallery of approximately 1,000 square feet, which will be a state-of-the-art gallery designed from the ground up to house art of all kinds. And we are working very closely with the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center in a collaboration so that we can bring their expertise into the building to curate that gallery. And we're very close to having a memorandum of understanding with that organization moving forward. And we're really excited about that partnership. I think it's a great combination.
Thanks. By the way, I'm Jim Butler's son. You're my dad and you are very good friends.
Oh, yes, we certainly were. I miss your dad a lot, Scott.
Yeah, me too.
Speaking of pillars of the community.
My mom gives her best to you, yeah?
Yeah, thank you very much. Any other questions?
Brooke,
Yes.
I missed it if you said it. Is there going to be any type of connection with, so people coming to the area can buy fine quality art, not just the tourist stuff, but they give them access to both the tribal work and our local artists?
Yes. I think the theme is going to be high quality art from Northwest artists and of course Native American art of a high quality as well. It's going to be a commercial gallery to some extent, but the bar is going to be set pretty high for the quality of the pieces that will be marketed there.
Excellent. And then I had a second quick.
Oh, sure. It just, I want to mention, it has two floor to ceiling windows in it that face north so that it's flooded with natural light, but no sunlight. So no UV damage to any of the art pieces, but natural light flooding in during the daytime.
If there is a repacing of the construction, how's that going to affect the labor, the people that have come in and those that live here?
Well, that depends on how it's done, but the only thing that would really work would be at some logical stage in the construction to have a temporary pause in the work that's going on. So what would happen to subcontractors and laborers at that point is beyond me to answer, but that's, we've been talking with Mortenson about this possibility since way before the construction started, because, if you're looking ahead, you've always got to anticipate something can come along. And nobody expected this one, but so the contract is written in such a way that it has great flexibility.
I'll add that a lot of the work done by local contractors has been completed. So the excavation, for instance, was completed by Jamestown Excavation, the concrete, Angelus Concrete. Olympic Electric is getting way ahead now on laying conduit. And so the local contractors, subcontractors are quickly approaching the conclusion of their work.
Yeah, there will be more and more work by Mortenson's own people and less by our local subcontractors as time goes on. Do you have other questions? If you haven't been down to the site recently, I would urge you to go down, and particularly go down on a Monday through a Thursday when they're working, and watch the, you can literally stand there or sit there or walk on the trail and watch them work. And when the building's enclosed, you're not gonna be able to do that anymore. So now's the time. Sunny days and clear weather, and go down and watch the guys work. It's pretty fascinating. I got to get up on the second level this week earlier on a tour, and those views are everything we expected and more so.
Wonderful.
What is the timeline for the Longhouse and the Marine Center?
We don't have a fixed timeline on that, Kathy, but here's what I suspect. I think the Marine Discovery Center coalition is farther ahead with their planning and designing and fundraising than the Lower Elwha tribe is. So logically, they would be next at the very west end of the property, using approximately 20,000 square feet. And that would leave about 15,000 square feet in between the two buildings. So I would expect logically that the Tribes project would be the third one to be completed. Then you'll have a fully integrated campus, which will be tied together with walkways and signage and landscaping that ties it all together. Makes it look like it was planned, didn't just happen. And those buildings are going to share architectural themes with our building so that it looks like a truly integrated campus. I think this would be a great attraction for visitors.
Thank you. Any other questions for Brooke or Chris Fiedler? Or...
Thank you so much, Brooke.
I should also mention that your own Jim Jones has been extremely helpful to us on our finance committee. Never misses a meeting. It's really great to have his head in the room when we're talking about finances, of course, which is huge and complicated of the $50 million project. So, Jim, thanks for all your help.
You bet, Brooks. Been fun. Been real interesting.
Indeed.
All right. I'll thank you very much, Brooke. Thank you very much, Chris, for joining us this morning. Kathy, for putting this together. And we appreciate everything you've done. If anybody gets a chance, go down there and take a look at it. I drive by it every day, and it gets prettier every day. Every day, especially with those columns going up. I mean, it's just beautiful. Those glulam columns are unbelievable. So, but okay, so here it is, 7:55. You get 5 minutes back of your life. So I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. And everybody have a great weekend. Go Seahawks, and we'll see what happens next week.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Wolf.